Welcome to the Malefactor, and this is 1.0. And we thank the Lord honestly for bringing us into this. This is one fulfillment day. Yeah, it's been a vision that God has, by His mercies, given us many years ago. If I'm not mistaken, I think that should be 2018 when this vision actually came. But according to our training and how God has been helping us, there are certain visions that are for an appointed time, we know. So at the point when it came, it was really more like, God, why will you be asking me to do this when I am still walking through this process? Why will you be bringing this vision while I am still very much single? I really do not have capacity, as it were, to begin to, dish out some kind of things. And God, spoke to our hearts to say it is for an appointed time. And honestly, I was sharing with some persons, this was the blueprint of it as at then. I just bought this this short exercise book then. And I just wrote down some of the things the Lord was just laying in my heart about the vision and everything. And that was how, it went. Up until a few months ago when the Holy Spirit was just speaking to me. And that was how I knew that it was actually time for us to actually begin this. It is coming, very, 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 very timely under the leading of God. I'm going to be saying this because it's very, very important for us. Very early, God began to make me understand that the journey of a man's life, especially a child of God and who is very intentional and who is really serious about walking with God today, tomorrow, and till eternity, is that as men, there are things that we must get right. We cannot afford to actually miss. And one of them is at this junction of marriage. And this is the reason. There is a generation to come in the future that will come to ask of you how you went through this phase of your life. So it calls for a very serious attention. If truly you are going to be useful and you are going to remain in God's agenda, in God's plan and purposes for the many years to come. Yes, Jesus is coming soon. We'll live our lives like we are preparing for Him to come to. In fact, as I'm talking to you right now. But if He doesn't come in the next 50 years, what will happen is that there is a generation that will also come to you, or indirectly or directly look up to you. And if you had jumped the gun, if you had done something wrong, or if you had shortchanged the process at this point of marriage, what will happen is that you may have shortchanged yourself outside the purpose and the counsel of God for your life. You may now begin to not be as effective as you should. Why? Because you did not do things the right way. So God began first to say to us that we need to first begin to set some things right. And possibly that is why He's beginning us this way. So we are first going to be looking at the before. And later on go into the proposal, what it means to propose, and also the afterwards. The weight of the calling, we need to be sacrificial, we need to be sanctifying. John 17, Jesus was speaking there. He says, for thy sake I sanctify myself for your own sake. That's the same thing that God is calling us to as men. We need to also be purposeful. As Christ is building us towards glory, as a man, God is also expecting us to build our wives, our families, and our home steps towards a better future. The Malefactor is not about being the perfect man. It is about being the intentional man. By God's mercies, we're trusting God that this will be a community where brothers can share, where brothers can actually speak together, where we can share our challenges, just like some of us were not at the beginning. And we're talking about the challenges that we face as men, and it speaks to our collective humanity. So we are trusting the Lord that we'll also have that kind of a space where we can build ourselves together, we can share. So if you want to actually belong to that kind of a community as well, we're going to share things amongst ourselves, opportunities, or whatsoever it is, or struggles or challenges. It will be an open space where we can come together, come into and raise certain concerns, raise certain issues. Please, if you're interested in that kind of a community, there's the QR code there on your screen. You can actually scan the QR code, and you will just land yourself in that group, and we'll be doing the approval. Number one is this: that the Lord will make us men of clarity and vision. That's one prayer I want us to pray as a community of brothers. That God will help us to first of all have clarity and vision in our own selves, because the blind cannot lead the blind. That's one prayer the Lord laid in my heart specifically for us to pray today, and you can actually write it down and take it back as you go after this meeting. The second one is that the Lord will release every resource we need for life, for destiny, and for family.
Join us for Malefactor 2.0. God bless you.